Welcome everyone who is joining us virtually for our latest in a series of technical meetup discussions. This will be part 2 for the technical showcase for Money team. Today, we're going to be looking under the hood for the financial products and platforms that power DoorDash. Quick introduction. My name is Chiaai, and I lead engineering for the Money team. I'm actually joining today's conversation from LA, where I also operate as a site lead for our DoorDash LA site. All right, so now let's take a look at Money at DoorDash. We do 3 things in Money team. We build products, we scale platforms, and we bring impact. The team will be focusing on the first 2, and I'd like to talk about making an impact. The Money team exists to enable reliable, flexible, and fast money experiences at scale in the most efficient manner for all our customers, whether they are customers like you who order food every day and/or dashers and merchants who get paid daily. We also track every cent flowing through our system so that we can create accurate financial reporting for our earnings calls. So where do we do all this? We do it in sunny LA. We recently celebrated our 1-year launch anniversary, and since the opening, we have grown our engineering org to be roughly around 100 engineers, and now 300 cross-functional members. Now let's take a quick look at the agenda for today. Welcome introductions just happened, and the next keynote will be building an in-house recurring billing system by Tian. And then we are going to hop on to our lightning talks. We'll be talking about building a real-time ledger by Surajit. And then we are going to be talking about how we built the nationwide shipping platform by Tim. And then we are going to jump into the DxDirect debit card program, where we enable the Dashers gas rewards by Ben. And we're going to finish it off with how we get Dashers their earnings faster by Chiaai. At the end, we are going to also leave for y'all to ask questions, 10-minute questions. Please use the Q&A section from the Zoom. And also, please keep an eye out for announcements throughout the event from the host and the panelists. Now, I'd like to pass it on to Tian to start with the building an in-house recurring billing system.
Thank you, Chiaai. Okay, so hello everyone, I'm Tian Zhang, a software engineer from DoorDash Money team, and I've been working in the DoorDash for 1 year now. And today I'm going to have an introduction of the in-house recurring billing system that we recently launched. As we know that the subscription service is like a very popular business model in the industry, and many high-profile services are based on the subscription service. And there are like lots of companies has their own subscription service, like the streaming videos website has a subscription service to skip the advertisement, and the software company has subscription for their like product license, and or there are like some subscription box service for the toys, cosmetics, snacks, and so on. And all this subscription service business model has a common problem need to be resolved. It is like how to charge the customer currently with trials with complex business logic. And today I'll just introduce how we support the recurring billing business model in DoorDash with the in-house billing system. And you will see how we leverage with Cadence to manage the recurring billing cycles for the subscription service. And let's talk about the problem that we had before we built the in-house recurring billing system. Our main problem at the beginning was that we want to broaden the payment method selection of our DashPass product. Maybe some of you already knows about DashPass. DashPass is just like a DoorDash subscription program that gives the consumers unlimited free delivery on the selected merchants. And also the customers can just subscribe. They will be charged recurrently according to the different type of the DashPass plan that they subscribe. For example, if a consumer subscribes a monthly DashPass plan, and the delivery fee will be waived when the consumer makes any order, and the consumer will be charged automatically every month for the DashPass fee. And how we support the DashPass in our existing system, like lots of the other subscription service in the industry, and our existing system was built on top of like the subscription service powered by our provider. And our provider provides excellent service on managing all the subscription and invoice life cycles. And our provider also helped us to manage all the behaviors like trial management, invoice payment, subscription terminations, and so on. However, the challenge for us, like for our existing system, is some of the payment method types are not supported, such as PayPal and Venmo. So if we want to broaden the payment method selection for our DashPass product, building an in-house recurring billing system becomes our best option. With building the in-house recurring billing system, there are some benefits compared to the existing system. The in-house recurring billing system completely removes the payment method selection restriction for DashPass, and also this gives us like flexibility of the payment provider selection. For example, when we pay an invoice, we don't have to always charge through one specific provider. We can also charge like from other payment providers. So what does the in-house recurring billing system exactly do? The in-house recurring billing system is an internal system to manage and support the subscription billing cycle and invoicing business model. It supports create, cancel, and update DashPass subscription. Most important part is the in-house recurring billing system now support alternative payment method option for DashPass subscriptions. Okay. So for building the in-house recurring billing system, there are a few major requirements that we have to meet. There are support both with trial and without trial DashPass plan subscription, pay a subscription invoice at the beginning of the life cycle, and retry failed invoice payment within the billing cycle, terminate subscription which now successfully collect payment at the end of the billing cycle. We built a state machine to manage every state of the subscription lifecycle. You can see from the FSM diagram we have here, our state machine just manages the whole subscription lifecycle, includes initial, trialing, active, past due, canceled, and failed. From here, we can see the most critical issue that we want to resolve here is how to manage life cycle for each subscription within our system. Okay, so about how to manage the recurring billing cycles in the system, we had two options on our plate. The first one is a database scan. So different logic can be performed by periodically scan the specific state of the subscription. And this should be work, but not the efficient solution. It's easy to implement by creating the cron jobs and just pick up the specific state of the subscription and doing the operations or the business operations, but the state machine management could become more complicated. And for example, if there's any issue happening in the downstream system, we have to pay extra attention to recover the state. And it's not fault tolerance design. Also, the database is not efficient to fetching specific state of the records. Another solution is to leverage with the cadence. So the entire recurring billing lifecycle will be wrapped into a workflow, and all the business logic we want to perform will encapsulate it into like different state functions. And the workflow makes the entire business logic more clear. And since Cadence supports state recovery and it is deterministic. Cadence workflow is fault tolerance and it supports state recovery and the deterministic process. And each workflow has a unique workflow ID, so it won't mess up each billing cycle. And also workflow provides a retry logic, even though the workflow can be failed, we can always retry the workflow like without mess up anything. So like about the cons, we do have the limitation on the Cadence platform capability. Like if we want to add in more and more workflows into a Cadence cluster, we have to consider about the scalability of the Cadence. But like since Cadence have lots of benefits for us, we still decide to go with Cadence. Okay, so let's talk about on high level about how Cadence manages recurring billing cycles. So there are two most important processes in the billing cycle management: create and cancel subscription. When we create a new subscription, an associated workflow will be created and lived in the Cadence cluster. Once the workflow is created, Cadence workers will pick up the task within the workflow and execute the operation inside. When cancel subscription, we need to terminate the existing workflow so the recurring billing cycle can be stopped. Okay, so go to the next page. Let's just take a look at how the Cadence workflow looks inside. We have a diagram here to show how we define the business logic and the operations in the Cadence workflow. For the workflow, all the timestamp of the activity execution is calculated, and this promised that the workflow is idempotent. Also, we have retry logic configured to handling both client and system failures. Let's just quickly deep dive our workflow here. So we can see once the subscription is created, the first workflow will be created. At the beginning of the workflow, we calculate the billing anchor of the subscription, which is a timestamp of the next billing cycle. The billing anchor is important because all these following activities are based on this billing anchor. So the entire workflow can be idempotent. And after we have the billing anchor, we will perform the first activity in the workflow, the pay invoice. We configured the exponential backup retry on this activity, which means like whenever this activity is failed, it can always be retried if there's a system level issue. Also, we set up the scheduled retry for this activity, which means like every 7 days, this pay invoice activity will be performed again if the payment was not collected successfully last time. If all the scheduled retry failed, cancel subscription activity will be performed and the subscription will be turned into the termination state. Once the pay invoice activities succeed, the following activities will be executed. There are like a couple of the notification activities, and all the timestamp of the activity run will be calculated by the billing anchor we had at the beginning. And at the end of the workflow, which is the time of the billing anchor, a new workflow will be created. Then the subscription will enter to the next billing cycle and the workflow. So this is how the Cadence workflow looks like in general. So if you have any interesting to build like subscription service, Cadence might be your good friend. Okay, so if we go to the next page, so we talk about like one of the good benefit for the Cadence is a fault tolerance. So regarding to the fault tolerance, there were few real world cases after we launched the system. We've been through the payment providers outage, unstable data connections, and downstream service connection issue, and the retry logic of the pay invoice activity saved us like lots of times, so we can charge from our consumers on time. And also for the state recovery and deterministic benefit of the Cadence, we've been through like an incident like recently, which makes like a bunch of our Cadence workflow failed and expired. Since the workflow itself is idempotent, once we restart the workflow with the same parameter, we won't worry about like if some of the steps of the workflow will run again. Okay. So if we go to the next page, let's talk about the impact and future of the in-house recurring billing system in DoorDash. So as a result, currently the PayPal, Venmo, and the Afterpay are already available for DashPass on the in-house recurring billing system. we already seen a great growth of the DashPass signups and subscription revenue, and also like since we provide alternative payment methods for DashPass, this bring up like more customers for the DashPass products. And like since the new payment method collection, the new payment method selections has higher authorization rate, the passive churn rate for the DashPass is also decreased. Probably in the future, we'll onboard like more type of the payment methods, or maybe migrate all our providers' subscriptions to our in-house billing system. And also we have like ability to adopt other recurring billing system use case like DoorDash for Work product. That's all of our future opportunities. Okay, so that's it for the how we build the in-house recurring billing system. Thank you all for your time.
Thanks, Tian. Hi, thank you all for joining the Money event today. And in this talk, I will be talking about some of the challenges that we face building a near real-time ledger for DoorDash. A bit about me. I'm Surajit. I have been with DoorDash for 4.5 years now, and currently leading the financial intelligence team, and have been leading the Ledger project for over 2 years. Apart from money, I enjoy hiking, traveling, and pretty much any movie with a good story. So what was the need for the real-time processing for revenue? Well, as you're aware, all transactions affecting money need to be accurately traced and recorded. Given the multitude of microservices and systems involved, there was a need for a central system to access all financially relevant transactions and related data. Moreover, we needed to be up to date and accurate on all reporting of financial data. We wanted to be able to reconcile all transactions continuously and detect any issues as early as possible so that we could take corrective steps. And we also wanted to see issues with like incorrect setup or other things surface up. So, and having all of the above would enable us to get the holy goal of shorter and faster close processing. To solve the problems, we developed the revenue subledger. It's a distributed system based on Apache Flink that enables us to process events from upstream microsystems with very low latency. So while building this ledger, obviously there were issues that we faced. Next slide, please. Yeah. So these were data volume, ensuring completeness and accuracy for all the components. And also, while we are doing a huge amount of processing, how do we make sure that it is extensible for all the monthly changes that happen? So let's go over them. So the first one, scaling the data volume for ledgers. So a typical order lifecycle generates a lot of events from order submission, card payment, etc. At DoorDash's volume, processing this data easily crosses into hundreds of terabytes. And this volume is increasing as we launch more and more products and enter more markets. Next challenge. Majority of DoorDash's services are on the cloud. And with that territory comes unplanned or planned outages for our microservices. And these cause gaps in events. But again, since we are on the revenue side, we need to know all of these events, and we need all of these events in the correct order to book liability in a timely manner. Next, the problem that I would like to discuss was, while we are processing all of these, how do we make sure that new features that DoorDash launch or integrations that we have, or even corrections that we do can be handled automatically? We talk about how the team met these challenges in the upcoming slides. So for handling the data volume, the first thing that we did was move to an append-only database schema. This allowed us to route the data into 2 different stores. The active data was stored in partition tables in CockroachDB and was also synchronized to S3 via CockroachDB CDC mechanisms or the Flink S3 sync. Data that is not active any longer was simply dropped from CorporateDB, but was still available in S3 for any future retrieval or reporting. Our next challenge was to ensure that the data was completely processed. Now, this solution was in two parts. For our upstream services, we encouraged them to publish events using patterns like Outbox to ensure that all domain events were recorded locally before publishing. And we also asked them to have recovery and retry flows like Cadence that would ensure that all events were published when the service recovers. Next, we see how Ledger handles these outages. We have scripts that validate, like all events are validated and processed, all errors, events having errors are flagged, and we have internal watermarks to ensure that duplicate events are identified and discarded. And we also have a cool mechanism that when events arrive out of order, we automatically undo the processing as needed and reprocess the events in the correct order to ensure the results are always correct. And finally, next, for ensuring extensibility, what we have done is we make sure that our processing rules are completely configuration driven and decoupled from the underlying processing framework. This means that addition or changes are mostly configuration changes, and these changes can be easily implemented. So what do we want to do next? We want to build tools that are easier for our partners to modify and maintain rules. And in the next slide, we can see like what our next milestones are. We want to make sure that our processing is more robust and more performant as we continue to meet the increasing needs of DoorDash products. And we also want to make sure that all our DoorDash, and we meet all the required quality standards even earlier in our processing. Thanks for tuning in for this talk. Next up, Tim will talk about nationwide shipping platform.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tim Chang. I'm a backend engineer, and I have worked at DoorDash since November of last year. And I'm very proud to be able to have to work on expanding our nationwide shipping platform to improve shipping for our consumers and merchants. Next slide, please. Yeah, so to launch shipping, we needed to make sure our platform can fulfill major requirements. And it was a challenge to launch these features from scratch and to fit it into our large microservice environment. We need to offer logistics and order delegation as a feature. This is because DoorDash receives consumer orders and we need to send them to merchants for fulfillment. And we need to offer in-app tracking so that our shipping statuses are updated with statuses such as order is shipped and order delivered. And finally, the last major feature we need to offer is to have a notification system. So this is in the form of SMS, push, and email so that consumers can be kept up to date and be engaged with the shipping process. Next slide, please. So let's talk a little bit about the overview of our shipping architecture stack, which is our proposed shipping platform solution. So we have chosen Cassandra as our data store to persist shipping information such as tracking URLs, shipping statuses, and etc. We have integrated with an external logistics provider to provide us with logistic management and order delegation to our merchants. We have also integrated with another external carrier provider to provide us with carrier tracking events so that we receive tracking events such as from carriers such as UPS, FedEx, the major. So just for example. And finally, we have implemented a shipping order state workflow, and so that these workflows can be run to help us create shipping orders, pull shipping labels, and track shipping events. More on this later. On the right-hand side of this slide, you can see, this slide, yeah. So on the right-hand side, you can see a simplified diagram of our solution. From the beginning, our shipping consumers, previous slide, please. Thank you. Yeah, the one before that. Uh, sorry, can we? Yeah, this one. Awesome. Yep. So our clients would send requests for our backend for front-end service, which would make requests to our delivery experience that would translate our shipping status enum values to readable values for our consumers. And these values would be translated so it support different regions. Our delivery service experience service would make requests to order service to fetch shipping information. And once the order is created, we would kick off our shipping cadence workflow to create shipping orders, fetch labels, and start tracking of carrier events. And we would receive webhooks from our integrated external providers. Next slide, please. So let's talk a little bit more about our shipping order state workflow. Our workflow is built on top of Cadence as our workflow framework. We have implemented our workflow so that it is configured to be idempotent and also fault tolerant with timeouts and retries on our activities. On the right-hand side, you can see the different order states we have defined as our shipping lifecycle. When the shipping order is created, it is pending confirmation. And when it's pending confirmation, we run activities so that we configured our sleep activities so that it matches to the specification defined by our merchants. And then it moves to confirm order, where we create shipping order in our logistic provider. And following confirming order, we pull label and finally start tracking for carrier events. Next slide, please. So the benefit of running our shipping as workflow has a lot of benefits, and some of the benefits directly benefits our business. We can reduce customer call center requests, improve order processes so that we can close out orders in time and more accurately with real-time events, and also improve merchant integration to provide them with data that they need to process shipping information. Next slide, please. As well as engineering benefits are derived from building this platform. We're able to update and also build better workflows that are backward compatible, being able to handle retries with ease. And also we can increase internal adoption. Our platform can be adopted by different shipping related products within DoorDash. And finally, our shipping platform with additional data stream coming in tremendously improves our data logging and alerting monitoring system for our shipping businesses. And now I would like to introduce our next presenter, Ben Robbins, to talk about our DxDirect debit card program.
Thank you all for taking the time to join in the call today. We'll be discussing how we built our DxDirect program and how it enabled us to provide fast rewards to our Dashers in a time of need. First, a bit about myself. My name is Ben Robbins. I've been at DoorDash for nearly a year and work on the payment platform, specifically on payout for our Dashers and merchants. Next slide, please. What is DxDirect? Simply put, it's a prepaid debit card providing Dashers access to their earnings. After each shift, Dashers receive their earnings automatically to this card at no additional fee. Previously, Dashers could only be paid weekly to their bank accounts. Dashers can use this option like any other credit or debit card, and like other branded cards, it ties holders to our platform. This program was launched in late 2020 and has seen rapid adoption. Nearly half of all Dashers have opted in, accounting for over 500,000 active users and millions of transactions per week. On the right, you can see some marketing material advertising card benefits, such as cashback, no fees, or account minimums. Next slide, please. So, how did we build it? This is a simplified diagram detailing our infrastructure and payout sequence. At the start, we have our ledger storing payout details, amount, Dasher ID, date, etc., and CockroachDB. This table gets updated when a Dasher closes their shift, and the payout amount corresponds to one or more deliveries. Upon updating, we double write the record to a multi-purpose Kafka topic that we leverage to trigger instant payouts. We maintain a pool of consumers that directly enqueue the record into a Cadence workflow for resiliency. Once started, this Cadence workflow invokes our payment service provider's REST APIs, which will issue the payout to the cardholder. Next slide, please. Now, Let's review a few technical challenges in building out this system. Key to our whole flow is ensuring that each driver gets paid once and exactly once. And to accomplish this, we have to enforce item potency at every step. We use a unique key based on the Dasher shift ID that is passed through every layer in the sequence. There are multiple locks based on this key, from CockroachDB, which by default has strong ACID transactions, to Cadence, which can enforce a unique workflow ID across its worker pool. Another challenge relates to maintaining and syncing states between providers, which is particularly important for payments. We integrate directly with their main payment service provider, and they in turn maintain many direct connections with their partners. Outages can originate from any dependency in this chain, so our system needs to be resilient enough to automatically resync states. We primarily accomplish this through cadence retry policies and as a last resort cron jobs. Finally, as the system interacts with many unique technologies, it's critically important to have visibility into every step in the process. We emit custom OpenTelemetry metrics from each step in the pipeline and have a set of automatic alerts to help pinpoint failures. Next slide, please. So, let's talk about the outcome of both DxDirect and the Gas Rewards program. From a purely technical point of view, providing instant payouts as opposed to weekly payouts in batch more evenly distributes load to the system and avoids potentially harmful batch queries. This has helped our system scale in its current form. The outcome of the gas rewards have been very pronounced. At launch, we offered 2% cashback on gas, but as the war in Ukraine led to a spike in prices, we quickly moved to offer 10% cashback to all Dashers. Once the offer was in place, we saw a huge increase in both DxDirect applications and overall satisfaction with the program. From our internal surveys, 88% of Dashers either loved or liked the program, and testimonials, such as Tony's above, highlights its importance. Ultimately, happier Dashers more eager to work leads to a better experience for our customers and business. We continue to look for new opportunities to benefit our Dashers via this program and look forward to presenting more soon. Thank you for listening in, and let me pass it over to Chiaai.
Thanks so much, Ben. Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you all. My name is Chiaai, and I'm a backend engineer on the Money Platform team. Today, I'm going to share a topic related to how we bring Dasher fast cash to their earnings with FastPay. First, let me introduce what is FastPay. FastPay is a product designed for Dashers to access their earnings within 30 minutes after their request. The earnings will be cashed out to the Dasher's personal debit card, which means that the Dasher can cash out the earnings after his or her completed dashes to their existing bank account on the same day with a small amount of fee, so that the Dasher can have access to their earnings for emergency situations or same-day step spending. And they have a clear understanding of how much they have in earnings and withdraw the amount when they wish. There are 3 key major concerns we always keep in mind to ensure high quality of our products: reliability, scalability, and maintainability. For reliability, we ensure our system has high test coverage with the code and fallback plans in case any unexpected happens. In addition, we also have alert setting to make sure that our system keeps high performance. For scalability, we monitor the number of requests and concurrent users between the time period and make sure the traffic is stable. For maintainability, we decouple the system and make sure as few dependencies as possible. And we have a state machine to make sure we can sooner recover with retries. Next slide, please. Thank you. Now I'll use 2 examples to show how we develop FastPay. The first one is what you can see from this graph, the state machine of FastPay. When we create a FastPay, the status will mark it as new, and we store new in our database. We then send the request to our provider. Starting from this decision box, there are 3 main possible flows. The first one is some error on the system side from our provider. We'll mark this status as error. The second one is some issue with the Dasher's bank. Then the state will turn into failed. The third one is that the request is accepted by our provider. Then the status will become pending. Generally, less than 30 minutes, we'll get the update of the payout status, and we'll split them into two flows for failed or paid, depending on if the card issuer bank accepts our funds. Yeah. Next slide, please. Thank you. So let's take a deeper look to the state machine. We can see there are three final statuses for the state machine: arrow, failed, and paid, which we marked as orange. And two ways of notifications we'll provide to our Dasher: in-app pop-up or email notification. For arrow state and failed status before sending requests to our provider, a pop-up will be shown with arrow message displayed, and the Dasher knows something happened, thus they can make a retry. For paid state, a pop-up shown with the pending status will be displayed. The Dasher can know that they will get a fund expectedly. For the final state after pending, that is the paid or the failed status, an email notification will be sent with the earning statement shown to the Dasher. Next slide, please. Okay. In addition to state machine, what do we use to make it easy to expand in different regions or countries? The two key concepts are configuration and runtime. First, we identify parameters that we may need to make difference for different countries and regions and make them configurable. Second, we use runtime to update these parameters without huge code change, and the update can be done in a short period of time. Next slide, please. Thank you. So what's our current plan and future plan for FastPay? As DoorDash is expanding in different countries, now FastPay already lives in the United States and Canada. Hundreds of thousands of Dasher benefit from them. And the launch of FastPay in Australia is ongoing. In addition, we provide different settings or promotion offer based on different regions or states. Besides, marketing is currently working on frictionless FastPay, which we expect we can provide a better experience for Dasher to get the earnings as soon as possible to support their daily lives better. That's all for my today's talk. We will now move to the QA session.
Hello, everyone. So there was a flood of questions coming in. We answered a bunch of them live through the chat, but let me ask a few real time. Let's see if the panelists can join. Tian, Ban. All right, maybe we can start. Let's see. Maybe start with Tim. Why did you choose to work at DoorDash's money team?
Hi, Chiaai. It's
Tian
with Tim. Yeah.
Tim, yeah.
Hey, Chiaai. Yeah. So working at DoorDash has honestly be the place where I've been able to make the greatest contribution in terms of like directly making engineering contributions and feel that direct impact. And also here, there's a great opportunity for you to learn how to build large scale systems. For example, at DoorDash, within 1 year of working here, I was able to launch shipping and be able to actually make shipping a lot of and our consumers was able to place a lot of shipping orders within like the launch of our shipping products. And being able to work here, I was able to learn how to code in Kotlin, how microservice architecture works, and then being able to build cadence workflows, build streaming processes with Kafka, all of which are what provide a lot of core fundamentals as an engineer on how to build microservice features. So it's been a pleasure to work here at DoorDash and being able to work in the money team, building these products.
Thank you for that answer. Maybe Tian can pick up this next one. What about other countries' payment methods?
Yeah, so since like the in-house recurring billing system, like it will just remove the restriction for the type of the payment method. So there's no problem to charge with a different countries' payment method type. I mean, as long as our payment provider supports the payment method, we can always charge from other countries' payment method. Yeah, hope this answered your question.
Yes, and a follow-up, did you look into creating your own in-house platform similar to Cadence?
So far, we don't have any plan to create an in-house platform like Cadence, since right now, like a Cadence already satisfies all of our requirements, so we don't have a plan to do so.
Got it. Let's go for Surajit. Maybe you can help answer this one. How does data from revenue subledger make it to accounting for faster support, to support faster close?
Yeah, great question. So the subledger actually emits all the information about the GL accounts for every single order and delivery. These reports are then aggregated periodically per GL account and then enriched with a few attributes like the department ID, etc., and made ready for accounting. So accounting can readily use the data without and verify that everything is correct without having to wait for a month close. So this is a great way in which they can actually validate a large amount of the data without having to scramble at the end for like all the activities required for month close, and that also gives us peace of mind.
And a follow-up question for that, why the decision to build an in-house ledger?
There are many aspects to this. First of all, DoorDash's business is pretty unique for like just taking an out-of-box ledger and then working with it. So we needed something that could integrate seamlessly with our existing microservices and then go through a process of translating it into what accounting needs, which is why we built out this platform. But then Ledger is not just the only thing that would come out from this platform. This is just our first product. There are other things that would also come from there.
Maybe the next one is Ben can answer it. I'm curious if there have been any challenges with the cashback program on DxDirect in identifying gas purchases versus other purchases.
No, I think there haven't been any challenges I'm aware of. There's a code that merchants provide, which indicates the type of store, and it's pretty easy to match against that when we're looking at specific transactions. So no issues to date.
All right. Let's see. Maybe this can go back to Tian again. Do you manage pricing inside your billing system?
We don't manage the pricing inside the recurring billing system. We have another DashPass team. They manage the pricing of the DashPass product. Since like an in-house recurring billing system is like a fundamental framework for the payment side, we just accept the price and charge for them. We don't define the pricing.
Thank you for that answer. Another one, what are the expectations of an engineer at DoorDash, especially for entry-level engineers or junior engineers? Let's see, Chiaai, somebody who hasn't got an answer yet. You want to answer this one?
Yeah, I joined DoorDash as a new grade, and I think DoorDash provide a lot of opportunities for us to grow and like a lot of interesting projects I was engaged in before I become like more junior, and I can specify like some project that is interesting for like we launched FastPay in Canada, and we have a lot of product requirements discussed and make sure our system adapt to this new change appropriately. And also for New Zealand launch this year, we also offer a lot of new discussion, new design to adapt like different regions and different like requirement from different tax issue, something like that. And also learned a lot from the like tech side, from my tech leads, and a lot of things from my managers. Yep. I believe like DoorDash can offer a very brilliant experience for entry-level engineer or like junior engineers.
Yes, and another questioner on that engineering. How does the DoorDash collaborate within each other, like within different teams? Maybe Tim can talk about it because he has a lot of shipping was built on a lot of different microservices.
Yeah, you get the opportunity to build relationships with different platform teams. So coming in, working on a product team here at DoorDash, I was able to learn how to optimize and why some of the tech decisions were made by different platform teams to really optimize for each service at each layer. So, and also being able to learn how different deployment topologies work in real life. It's been a pleasure. So I feel like over time, I've become adapted to be able to work in any engineering situation. So yeah, going back to being able to learn a lot here at DoorDash, it's been great.
Awesome. Maybe this can go to, are you able to grow within DoorDash, Surajit, since you have been here one of the longest?
Yeah, sure. DoorDash has many exciting opportunities, many things to build. We are always looking for the talented engineer to come and join us. And I personally have seen many folks grow from different from the projects, and also have seen them grow into from initial person with 1 or 2 years to all the way to becoming tech leads and leading various initiatives, and also leading and growing in their what shall I say, domain knowledge as they have worked on different projects across DoorDash. So yeah, come join us.
And maybe one more technical question around that. What is your testing philosophy for real-time applications? Surajit, you want to take this?
So essentially, what we have done is, we have done a lot of things and we've thought about it a lot of ways, but the TLDR would be, we actually establish strict SLOs for processing, and then we actually track the end-to-end flow, how long is it taking from publish to processing, and we ensure that the P99 is always maintained. And whenever we are doing new features, or frameworks, we go through rigorous testing cycles to ensure that we don't regress on this.
Got it. Let's see. Other questions? Let's go for a question maybe to. Oh, this is a good one. What has been the most impactful project you have worked on DoorDash, and why? Pan, you want to pick this one up?
Yeah, of course. So going back similar to the presentation, it has to be DxDirect. Like moving from a weekly pay model to instant pay after every shift has completely transformed the job for many Dashers, especially those who are dependent on, as an income source for their bills, what have you. So it's motivated a lot more Dashers to be on the platform, and it's really just benefited them very directly. So I have to go with DxDirect.
Awesome. Thanks for that answer. Let's see. So maybe we can answer this between Tian and Tim. You can both answer because we both are using Cadence. Seems like you guys are all really all in on Cadence. Do you have an abstraction layer for all your services, so you aren't writing Cadence specific code in all of your services in case you want to move to a new solution? Tian, you want to start?
Can you say the question again? Sorry about that.
Sorry. Seems like you guys are really all in on Cadence. Do you have an abstraction layer for all your services, so you aren't writing Cadence specific code in all of your service in case you want to move to a new solution in the future?
Mm-hmm. So far for our service, for in-house billing service, we don't have the abstraction layer for our service. But probably for Tim, probably you may know in your side.
Yeah, so for shipping, yeah, it's the same. We don't have abstraction layer, but we have built our data persistence so that we have order states that are persisted for each logical shipping status. So like, for example, shipping is confirmed, etc. So in the future, if we do want to migrate, we do have that data persistence to back off on, that we can continue our activities, but just implement it in a different framework.
Yeah, I can also add to that. It also depends upon like how what type of project you're working on. Like so for some of the flows, the workflows are of a singular type, in which like cadence definitely helps. In other projects, you have a multitude of different job types, and that's where it makes a lot of sense to invest in an abstraction there, where we can like switch between different job frameworks, whether it's Spring or whether it is simple cron-based or cadence, depending upon what type of job you want to run.
Awesome. Another question here. I wonder how the release of the features handle at DoorDash. Is it just handled with feature flagging? And if so, how do you manage feature flags? And this can go to, I mean, I can just talk about in general. We have several methods. We do have feature flags. We have, canary rollouts, like we can do it percentage. We can do it by location. We have a full experiment team for this. So we want to make sure that we always provide the best experience and the highest quality as we release the code. And we do that through faster iterations by having those checks and balances in place. And also we test it on our lower environments. I think that was answers the second question, which was around, do you pilot certain things before going live, or is it a mass rollout? I think that answers both of them. Maybe another question. Let's go to last one. I think another career question. What kind of growth opportunities have you had while working on the money team at DoorDash? Tian, you want to pick this one up?
Yeah. So
sorry, Tim. I was saying Tian.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah.
Sorry about it. Can you repeat the question again? Sorry.
It's all good. What kind of growth opportunities have you had while working on the money team at DoorDash?
Yeah, like since I joined DoorDash a year ago, like I was mainly focusing on the recurring billing system, and like from the design and the implementation and from the entire like service got it launched and onboarding with different payment method type, and this gives me like a lot of opportunity to growth, and like from every single area, probably just for example, just on the design part, and also the cross-team collaborations, and also getting like lots of opportunity to talk with other teams about our system, and also like really get lots of opportunity to promote myself, like my technical skills within the team, and like became a critical member of our payment team. Yeah, hope I answered the question.
Yes, you did. And yes, you are a very critical part of the payment team. Awesome. I think that concludes our event here. We tried to answer as many questions as possible, but please feel free to reach out. There will be surveys going out too. And we are hiring. So if any of these sound interesting to you, please apply, come join us, and we can build together here. Thank you.